What's up, guys? It's Luke from Second and Short, and I'm here to bring you my 2025 NFL mock draft. Just to preface, I'm only doing the first round, so we're only going to be talking about day one, and I'm also doing this without any trades. I also want to mention I am recording this on March 17th, so anything that's happened, people signing, people getting traded, that happened after this, I didn't know it at the time I made this mock draft, so if you're going to berate me, please forgive me there. However, before we get into it, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications because we do have other draft-related stuff coming to you soon. Also, make sure you're listening to our podcast. There are new episodes every Monday and Friday. You can find them here on YouTube or wherever else you get your podcast from. Now, without further ado, let's get into my mock draft. With the first pick in the draft, I have the Tennessee Titans taking Abdul Carter, edge from Penn State. This is literally copy and paste Micah Parsons, and on top of that, I think he's the best defensive player in the draft this year. So, with that being said, I do believe that the Titans are going to rock with Will Levis, and they're not going to be drafting a quarterback this year. At number 2, the Cleveland Browns are going to take Cam Ward, quarterback out of Miami. The Browns have just simply got to get the quarterback position figured out from decades of issues, and I think that their problems can be solved by drafting Cam Ward. He is by far the best quarterback in this draft. At number 3, I have the Giants taking Travis Hunter, the dual threat weapon from Colorado. Now, you might be wondering, why isn't Shedeur Sanders being taken here? I think the Giants are probably going to sign either Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers. And with that being said, I don't think Shedeur is first-round talent. I also think Travis Hunter pairs very nicely with Malik Neighbors, and on the other side of the ball, you have Deonte Banks. At number 4, I have the Patriots taking Will Campbell, offensive tackle from LSU. This draft is so loaded with wide receivers and running backs that I think you can wait to the second and maybe even third round to get one. And I think if you're the Patriots, who definitely want Drake May to succeed, you can't pass up on a guy like Will Campbell here. He would pair well with your new signing Morgan Moses on the other side. Let's protect Drake May. With the 5th pick in the draft, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Mason Graham, defensive lineman from Michigan. Pairing him with Trayvon Walker and Josh Hines Allen just sounds lethal. At number 6, I have the Las Vegas Raiders taking Ashton Jeanty, running back from Boise State. I'm going to make this one really simple for you guys. Let's look at Jeanty's season and then look at Zamir White and Alexander Madison's season. Need I say more about this pick? The Raiders need to go get their running back. Next up, we have the Jets at number 7, and I think they're going to take John Mackey award-winning tight end Tyler Warren from Penn State. Look, you guys just signed Justin Fields. Why not give him a safe throwing option like Tyler Warren? At number 8, I have the Carolina Panthers taking Mykel Williams, an edge rusher from Georgia. I feel like the Panthers could use a ball-hunting edge rusher like Mykel Williams here. Also, you don't see a lot of edges coming through the draft that are 6'5". I just think he'll be a total force to be reckoned with. At number 9, I had the New Orleans Saints taking the best cornerback in the draft, Jahdae Barron out of Texas. Earlier last year, you guys traded Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders, and I felt like he was a staple of the Saints defense for years. You guys already have decent offensive weapons, so why not draft the Jim Thorpe one? At number 10, I have the Chicago Bears taking Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle out of Texas. Another one that I'm just going to make really simple for you guys. Caleb Williams was the most sacked quarterback in the NFL last year. Yes, I know you just got Thuney from the Chiefs, but why not add a guy like Banks Jr. who can come in and just be a dominant force on the offensive line and protect your young quarterback? At number 11, I have the Niners taking Will Johnson, a cornerback from Michigan. The 49ers seem to be hitting the reset button on both sides of the ball, and I feel like they lack at the cornerback position. And Will Johnson is just kind of a dog. He is a ball-hawking corner that loves to score touchdowns when the ball gets in his hands. At number 12, I have the Cowboys selecting Tyler Booker, offensive guard from Alabama. The Cowboys have always prioritized their offensive line, and with Zach Martin retiring, I feel like this is a very, very safe option. Next, we have the Dolphins at 13, and I have them taking Armand Membo, offensive tackle from Mizzou. I would have said they were going to go wide receiver here, but it seems like Tyreek Hill is regretting his comments in January, kind of wanting out of Miami, which is great for the Dolphins because now you can protect Tua. At 14, I have the Colts taking Kenneth Grant, defensive lineman from Michigan. This team's defense was so bad last year, but you're already making positive changes. For example, signing Trevarius Ward, which is why I like taking a D lineman here, because someone can play alongside DeForest Buckner. With the 15th pick in this year's draft, I have the Atlanta Falcons taking James Pierce Jr., edge out of Tennessee. This is a position that the Falcons have neglected for years. James Pierce Jr. is a no-brainer. Don't overthink this, Atlanta. At 16, I have the Cardinals taking Mike Green, edge out of Marshall. The Cardinals defense was really bad last year, and they've already made improvements like signing Josh Sweat. Why not pair him with someone on the other side that is just a complete dog in Mike Green? With the 17th pick in the draft, I have the Cincinnati Bengals taking Nick Eamon-Warry, safety from South Carolina. This dude might be one of my favorite players in the entire draft. Since you want to spend all of your money on wide receivers, you have got to stop neglecting your defense, and you have a chance to do that here. I could see them going edge rusher with the recent departure of Sam Hubbard and them allowing Trey Hendrickson to, seek trades, but I don't think you can pass up on this guy. The main reason I don't think you can pass up on this guy is he is 6'3", 220, and ran a 4.38 40-yard dash. What? At number 18, I have the Seahawks taking Colston Loveland, tight end out of Michigan. You got your new QB in Sam Darnold, and you're pairing him with Cooper Kupp at wide receiver. What's wrong with taking a tight end that's super athletic and 6'6"? At 19, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking Jahad Campbell, linebacker from Alabama. It's no secret that the Buccaneers love their linebackers like Derek Brooks, Levante David. That's why I think it's important to get a linebacker like Jahad Campbell in while Levante David is still playing. That way we can have more of a passing of the torch situation. At 20, I have the Broncos selecting Teteroa McMillan, wide receiver from Arizona. Cortland Sutton is only getting older, and Troy Franklin may have been a bust. They definitely could go running back here, but I think you can wait until round 2 to get a really solid one. But you cannot pass up on T-Mac at pick 20. At 21, I have the Pittsburgh Steelers selecting Omarion Hampton, running back from UNC. This guy has me foaming at the mouth. The Steelers need a running back who can handle a heavy workload, as it's the Steeler way. Omarion Hampton can be that battering ram for us. With the 22nd pick, I have the LA Chargers selecting Luther Burden, wide receiver from Mizzou. Pairing him with Ladd McConkey, Herbo, and Harbaugh seems like a great idea. I do want to mention I think Luther Burden is a little bit more raw than what people think. However, I think Coach Harbaugh is exactly the guy you want to play for in that situation. At 23, I have the Green Bay Packers selecting Matthew Golden, wide receiver from Texas. The Green Bay Packers are literally starving for a wide receiver one. They have a good group now, but I think Golden can emerge as the star that Jordan Love desperately needs. At 24, I have the Minnesota Vikings selecting Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia. Malachi Starks is a very versatile strong safety. He can play in the box, and he's really good in coverage. With that being said, I think adding him to a defense that's ran by Brian Flores is something just lethal. He'd also get to play alongside veteran Harrison Smith, who can, show him the ropes. With the 25th pick, I have the Houston Texans selecting Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State. CJ Stroud was literally bullied in 2024, causing his numbers to dip from his rookie year. A lot of this was due to just him being hit all the time, having no time to throw. On top of that, earlier this offseason, you lost Laramie Tunsil. So Josh Simmons, to me, makes the most sense. At 26, I have the Rams taking Trey Amos, cornerback from Ole Miss. You traded Tre'Davious White earlier to the Baltimore Ravens. I think Trey Amos has NFL-ready agility and coverage skills. At 27, I have the Baltimore Ravens selecting defensive tackle Walter Nolan from Ole Miss. This would be really unfair for the rest of the league. This is one of the best defensive tackles in this entire draft. Pairing him with guys like Madubuike, Kyle Van Noy, and Owe would just be really unfair. At 28, I have the Lions selecting Jalen Walker, edge from Georgia. Despite Aiden Hutchinson getting hurt in week 6 of last year, he still finished the season as their sack leader. I think the Lions will be keen on adding another pass rusher that can sit alongside Aiden Hutchinson. Also, this guy was the Dick Butkus Award winner. At 29, I have the Washington Commanders selecting Shamar Stewart, defensive lineman from Texas A&M. Unfortunately, it's probably time to stop counting on guys like Daron Payne, and also you lost Jonathan Allen to the Vikings earlier this offseason. With that being said, I like the Commanders adding an agile defensive end here. With the 30th pick in the draft, I have the Buffalo Bills selecting Maxwell Hairston, cornerback from Kentucky. Look, the Bills have not re-signed Rasul Douglas yet, which leaves them without a cornerback too. This guy could be Hairston. With the 31st pick in the draft, I have the Chiefs selecting Siobhan Revel Jr., cornerback from East Carolina. Carolina. Getting a cornerback who can play on the outside could mean that Trent McDuffie gets to go back to slot. The Chiefs already have their defensive line basically set. Why not go ahead and add to their secondary? With the last pick in the draft, I have the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, taking Gray Zabel, offensive lineman from North Dakota State. You lost Mekhi Becton earlier this offseason, so getting a guy that's literally played every position on the offensive line except for center could be beneficial to you guys. Also, Eagles GM Howie Roseman loves his big men. Alright guys, that has been my 2025 round 1 mock draft. This was an incredibly hard mock draft to make because there's so much talent. There's so many guys that I probably have here that might go day 2, which is why you guys need to flock to the comments and tell me how wrong I am. But a couple of reminders before you go flocking to the comments is: make sure you're listening to our podcast. New episodes come out every Monday and Friday. You can find them here on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on post notifications because we have a lot of draft coverage coming soon. Colin's mock draft is actually going to drop a week from today. Then after that, Grayson will be making his mock draft 2.0. Maybe you can expect another mock draft from me. I might do a 2.0. You can also stay up to date with what we're doing by following our TikTok and Instagram. Anyway, it's been Luke from Second and Short. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as Grayson says, peace.